Hello and welcome back to the Knitsforthesoul podcast. My name is Claudia and this is a podcast mainly about knitting, but also about the books I read and what else I'm up to. I'm sorry that it took a while since my last episode. I meant to podcast, but life got in the way as usual. So, as you see, I'm outside, I'm sitting in my garden, and I hope there won't be any disturbing noises. I already talked about that at length, but somehow my iPad stopped recording, and I only realized after about 10 minutes, and I have no idea if I get or if I remember everything I talked about. Anyway, so if you hear some rustling, this is my dog. He's right there in that bush. And he decided that right now is the perfect time to, I don't know, hunt some ants or I don't know. Yeah. So I'm really sorry about if that is annoying. Maybe the microphone is not really getting that. I will see that later when I'm editing. And I, of course, hope that you can understand me. Yeah. So, let me think. What did I talk about before? Yeah. So, soaking up the October sun is really nice, so I decided to sit out here, but it's definitely knitwear weather. Oh, I think it's a mouse. Okay. Well, I hope he doesn't get it, because it looks so nice and cozy in there. It's probably the winter apartment of that mouse. Well, that's the, let's say, negative part of having a fox terrier. They are hunting dogs. It's, at dusk, it's almost every night, it's a real drama to get him inside and then checking the garden for hedgehogs. And he got his paws on some before, and I had to carry him away and put him into the house, and then trying to find the hedgehog and yeah, carrying it into another garden. So I tend to put him in the other garden of that neighbor, because he's not at home most of the time, and his garden is quite overgrown. So I think it's maybe a little bit nicer for the hedgehogs, and definitely less dangerous because of my dog. Yeah. Okay, so I hope the mouse is safe. Anyway, what am I wearing? This is my Ingwer shawl by Melanie Berg. Let's see. Is it again? No, this is the right side. So, no, this one. Okay, that's weird with the sun. I have knit this years ago, I think about 5 years ago, out of Dererum Natura Ulisse. God, what is the yellow colorway? Genet? I think it's Genet. I put it here. And yeah, this is one of my favorite shawls. And I really like, this is my favorite color, this mustardy yellow. And I really prefer to combine this colorway with something gray. And coincidentally, I'm also wearing socks in that color. Just get it off, because I'm not flexible enough to show you. So these are the socks I'm wearing. And this is quite comfortable, sitting outside in the sun, and wearing some wool. Yeah, I brought you some finished objects, and lots of whips and lots of yarns. Let's see. I think it was in the last episode, or the one before, where I showed you that humongous sock tube I made with the help of my friend Stefan on his sock knitting machine. And the first pair of socks I made is this one. So when I recorded before, I had it on the sock bloggers, but another pair is on there now. So you get it in in this weird shape. This is a hand dyed yarn with stellina by a German hand dyer. I bought this at the yarn festival in Leipzig before COVID hit. Yeah, so it looks very tiny and small, but it stretches a lot and it fits my European 40-41 size, and I can also put it up my calf. So it looks weird, but it is a really comfortable sock, and also the gauge is really nice, so that it keeps its sturdiness. And the contrasting yarn is a sock yarn by Lang Yarns. So that was the first pair of socks I knit from the Socktube. And I really have to check that my iPad is recording once in a while. The next one I took out of that tube is also a hand-dyed yarn, an MCN by Sandra of the Craftfulness podcast. And the contrasting heels, toes and cuffs are made with Opal sock yarn minis. So they have those little, was it 5 or 10 gram minis? I'm not sure. But I had a big bunch of them still leftovers from when I had my shop. So it's quite antique because I closed it in 2017. And I used those to have pretty multicolored self-striping accents in this pair of socks. So you see, yes, this one here, this tiny part of the heel is an entirely different yarn. I have this is some leftover from another project, sock project, but the colors fit, so I use this here. Yeah, so this is the next pair of socks. I really like that they are not matching at all, but then again they are matching. Yeah, I really like them. This is fingering weight, but not a sock yarn per se. Let's see how this will hold up. But as the most crucial parts, the heel and the toe, have sock yarn, I think they will wear quite nicely and don't get hot. So I have so many socks that I can swap them out often enough that I actually don't have any, I've never had to mend any socks since I started knitting socks like 10 years ago. And so that's quite cool. Let's see, so the next is probably up until now my favorite pair. The yarn is an Opal yarn. Let me just wrap that around. And the other one, I'm not sure if this is necessary, but anyway. So the contrasting yarn is again a Lang Yarns sock yarn. Lang Yarns, jawohl, sock. They have those 50 gram balls where you always get an additional thread in the same color to for example for the heel, just to get it sturdier. That's also what I did. So this is the next pair. I posted them on Instagram already, but just have a look. So they're not in this exactly in the same sequence, but almost. It's still, I really love this, and it is the Opal Hundertwasser and the color 823. So der Weg von dir zu mir zurück. So the way from me to you, from you to me, like whatever. I don't know. And this is such a lovely color. It's so pretty. And I might have bought that skein again. And I thought I would really like to knit some Hermione socks out of these, or something other with a simple structure. And then I had a look at my Socktube and all the pairs of socks that will come out of that, and I thought, I don't want this to be in my stash forever until I'm getting around and knitting a sock in these. It's really a lovely color, and I might do that one day, but this skein will go to Stefan. He might watch that. Well, Stefan, you get this skein because you love that yarn or that colorway, so you get this skein. Don't argue. This is yours. Yeah. So these are my finished projects. And let me just grab the basket with what I'm knitting on currently. We stay in the sock department because when I decided, or when I took the tube, or the remaining tube, I thought, okay, which part would I like to knit next? It was very difficult, and I decided that I want to knit this into a pair of socks. So don't get me wrong, this is not everything. Because I already started on one. So I have this twice, and this is also a long yarn, sock yarn, in a dark blue, in a navy blue, and I'm knitting a toe currently, and with a little marker you see this is where the heel. Oh, did you hear the mouse? It fled into the other. This will the part where I will attach the heel. So then you have a teensy tiny bit of a leg, and I will do toe and heel on both of them, and then see how much I have left of this 50 gram skein and knit as long of a cuff as possible. Maybe to just wrap double, you know, like turn it around. Anyway, yeah, so these won't be such long socks, obviously, but this is also just a 50 gram skein I had of, let me see, yeah, here it is. So I have these cute little yarn cards I bought at the at the online store or web shop of Systre Negrene, and it is really nice. You can take out these little dots and then put the yarn on and put some info on. So this is a Regia Jacquard color in the color 5181, and I was I was so undecided which contrasting color I wanted to use, because I actually have pink in there, I also have the grays, and I have the greens, and I thought, damn, I don't have anything in orange. That would have been great. Why didn't I order one in orange? Because they had a fitting orange color. Yeah, so but then I used the blue, and it's really lovely. So this is the next pair. Then because I couldn't decide, and I had to cut it out of the tube anyway to get to the Jacquard colorway, I also put on the needles, also from Opal, one of their subscription yarns. I got this gifted from a friend, and it is this colorway. So it doesn't have a number, so I have no idea which colorway this is, but it is from their subscription. I'm not sure if it was 2020 or 2021. Maybe you know that. So isn't that pretty? So here's the other one. It's the other sock. And yeah, so I haven't done anything at this point because I have not yet decided which color will be the contrasting color. And maybe you can help with it. Ah, okay. Neighbor's kids are outside. I think would be a weird bird. Oh yeah, it's a neighbor's kid. How convenient. So, up until now, I am not really sure which contrasting color I will use here. Is that? Oh, yeah, okay. I still have 23 grams left of the pink I used in the other Opal, and it would actually work because you have those little specks of this pink in here. So that would be a real nice pop of color. So I also have some of that yellow, but I also have some of this turquoise. That would be possible, and maybe this nice, well, rose color. It's not exactly the same as this one, if you can see that. It would be okay. Yeah, so I don't know, let's see. First I will do the Regia sock. Yeah. Okay, let me see. Then another sock whip. I showed you that before, and since the last time I showed you that, I probably have knit about 2 pattern repeats. So these are my Paddington Station socks by Ambrose. Yeah, sorry, the dog. And this is a non-superwash sock yarn, plant and hand dyed in Germany. I put everything here. I showed you that before, so I haven't done a lot Yes. So I took this with me to work twice, I think, and when I had to wait at the doctor's office, but I didn't have to wait long, so I think I got one round in and that was it. So seriously, I wonder who would invent a toy like that, and then why are parents buying that thing? I wouldn't. So these were my sock whips. Then I need to make space in my yarn basket or in my whip basket because I have another whip. It's embarrassing because not because I have another whip, but because it's a whip and not finished yet, and because it's October and it is a summer shirt, 100% linen. So I knitted I knit the Ranunculus sweater by Midori Hirose in a Rowan pure linen, and I am vacationing on Sleeve Island. So here's the sweater. I don't know if you can see anything. Well, you can see that I love the cotton, this color. Yeah. So I'm still at one sleeve. Oh, look at this. I have to mend this. And there's the other one still to go. And I'm struggling a bit with this because of the needles. So these are Knit Pro, or I think you know them as Knitter's Pride Zing, and it's a 6mm size, obviously, and they're just heavy, and it's not a pleasure to work with them on linen yarn, and that's why my Ranunculus is not finished yet, and that is embarrassing. So before I put needles on the sleeves, I put it on, and I really hope it won't grow because then it would be just too big. Let's see. I really like this, and I will definitely knit the Ranunculus in a wool yarn. I have a very nice combination of a Holst yarn Supersoft and their alpaca lace, Titicaca, it's called Titicaca, in a very lovely color, and then I would knit it with long sleeves, of course. And I've had this yarn in my stash definitely for about 8 years. Definitely. I have to check my stash on Ravelry, but I think so. I actually got it for a different project altogether, and never got around to knit it, and it disappeared from my queue. And but the colors are very nice, and I really want to knit with it, and I think it's going to be a Ranunculus. But I will try when I'm knitting those sleeves with a wool yarn. Maybe it's different with those needles. I prefer knitting with metal needles. I don't like bamboo. I can deal with wood, but I prefer metal, so I usually knit with the Chao red lace needles, and for all my DPNs are Zings. So, but the 6mm are really quite heavy, and it's not working with the linen yarn. So maybe it's better with the wool yarn. I will try that, but if that's not going to work, I'm just buying wooden DPNs in a size 6, because the Ranunculus, let me tell you, it's just such a joy to knit. I loved it. The yoke was such a pleasure. I think I could knit 10 yokes of that in a row, and then yeah, probably never finish any of them because of the stocking and stitch body. But no, the Ranunculus is really an awesome design. Yeah, so I really need to finish this up, and I want to wear this even now because you can just layer it, and yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, so these are my current whips, and before I show you what I indulged myself to cast on yesterday, I show you the yarns I bought. You've seen some of them already because I showed you the projects. So yeah, so the Socktube was meant to, well, help stash busting my sock yarn stash. Well, sock yarn is no stash, of course. Yeah, so that box where I have my sock yarn in was kind of empty after we finished up, after about 3 hours of, well, knitting. What? My dog looks at me, he's like, what are you doing? There are no treats anymore. No, all gone. Bye. So now I'm not interesting anymore. Yeah. And I mean, let me assure you, I have enough leftovers and little minis and whatever to actually yeah, kind of finding something for every of those pairs of socks. And then I went online to a German yarn shop because I really wanted to have this bright pink for the Opal sock. And then I took out that tube and thought, I need some basic colors. So I bought some basic colors. So I showed you the turquoise. So it's all Lang Yarns Jawohl Superwash, where I have this little, do I have some? Yeah, where you always get these little bobbins of additional thread to strengthen the heel, for example. So for this pair, I used up everything for the toes and the heels. The cuffs don't have that thread, so it was not enough for that. I mean, you don't need it for the cuffs, but it was barely enough for both heels and toes. So and yeah, so this is the color. Oh my gosh, is that the color? Which one is the color? Well, I'm not really sure. I think it's a 18A for this. It's a very nice petrol, or bless you again. And a third time. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Don't eat me. Yeah, so that's quite versatile because it will work with a couple of the others that are still on that tube. And then I also now he stole my shoe. Great. No. Nine. Sit. Brav. Okay. So, and then because I have this really nice hand-dyed yarn from Sandra, it's grayish, mustardy, goldish. I was thinking, okay, which kind of contrasting color I would try for that, and I bought a light gray and darker gray. So the light one is, I think, the 5, and the darker gray, they have even darker ones, is the 3. Is that? Yeah. So these are the gray, and I still have, I got this from a friend, a very nice mustardy yellow from Lana Avetta. So this is really nice. They don't have an additional thread bobbin. Anyway, so, and then I showed you that before. This very pretty rose color, pink, light pink. It's, I think, the color 248. They have nice names as well on the website, but they don't print this on the label. There's only the yarn. Yeah. Well, and the reinforcement yarn has the same color rosets. They're inside. Yeah. So these are not all. Triplets next door. I think that will take a while. So this is this is another skein I bought. It's also from a German company, Schachenmayr. So they're very old. Well, if we can believe the label, they were established in 1822. So let's see if they do something amazing next year for their 200 years anniversary. Anyway, I had a 50-gram skein of this, and it's also wound up in that tube. And no, I'm talking nonsense. Of course, I had a 100-gram skein, and I've knit a pair of socks for my son. Let me just insert that here. It's a perfect background. So, and then I had something left, and also we knitted it into that sock tube. And I really love that color. And when I bought those long yarns, that online shop had a happy hour where they gave 10% off everything. And I thought, this color is amazing. I want another one. So I will definitely knit some like nicely textured socks with that. But the striping effect of these are so lovely. Yeah, exactly. Exactly my opinion. Okay, so these were all not all of my yarns I bought, but I'm not sure if that really counts. So let me come to my very indulging moment I had yesterday. Well, I was contemplating to do that for a couple of weeks. It was very hard to resist, so I didn't even try. I joined that mystery call by Stephen West, so I'm taking part in the Shawlography call this year. And for that one you need 5 100-gram skeins of fingering weight yarn, and 4 skeins, or actually 5 skeins, are from my stash, which is great. And I just had to buy another skein because I didn't have anything in that color. So Stephen West offered kits up in his shop, and one of those inspired me, or the color palette of that inspired me to put together the yarns I did. So I posted that on Instagram as well, so if you follow me there, this is nothing new. If you don't, please do. But yeah, so let me just grab what I chose. So before I wound them up into balls, I took pictures of every skein again, and I would just insert the pretty skein here. The first is a hand-dyed fingering weight yarn, also again by Sandra, and it's a gray with bluish flecks and turquoise. Sometimes there's a bit of pink, but lots of times there is something rusty, brownish, awesome for my color palette, because I also used a Lana Grossa Meilenweit hand-dyed effect sock yarn, and this is the color Nanda, and this is how it's wound up, and it has those turquoise and brownish effects as well. And then my friend Jana gifted me for my birthday a hand-dyed yarn, and it's so luxurious, so really pretty. A Das Mondschaf, she's a German hand dyer, and this is the Pegasus base, and the color is shea. So this is a color, and because I did not have for the yarn, for the color pop, I didn't have a 100-gram skein of a real turquoisey color, I used 2 50-gram skeins of a hand-dyed BFL. So as this is a Stephen West design and you're playing around with colors, I thought it really doesn't matter. So this is yeah, some turquoise. So this is also hand-dyed by my friend Melanie. Her yarn dyeing business is on hold at the moment. She has a baby, and she yeah, there's a bee. And yeah, so I have many of those 50-gram BFLs. She called them tabby kittens, or kitten tabby, I don't know. And most of those other skeins are reserved for a shifty, which I want to knit like for 2 years already. So, and these were not reserved, so they are for this Shawlography. Yeah, so these are the stashed yarns, and I needed something corresponding, and the color palette I was inspired by had this rusty red skein So I purchased this one. This is a Regia premium silk sock yarn. Probably you see the little shines. It's awesome. It's so soft. It's really squishy. There's a dog hair. Oh, there's another. And this is, I think I will buy more of these. Not in that color, but they have lovely other colors in that on that base. And I really want a pair of socks in that. It's so gorgeous. Yeah, and this fits with all the others, and it does pop perfectly in the design. So I'm really glad I bought this. I also bought it at that same German yarn store I bought the other sock yarns with, but also when they had a happy hour. So they have this every day, and yeah, and give you 10% off. It's really awesome. And I think when you live in Germany and you are above, I think, 35 euros, then you don't pay shipping. Yeah. So I cast on yesterday, last night, and it was really hard to wait until my shift was over, and I had a late shift, so and possibly, well, I used my lunch break to wind the skeins, and it was really hard not to look for spoilers and everything. And I know at the point when I cast on, there were several people already posting the whole Clue 1 finished. God. So when I cast on, I also watched Stephen West's first video on that, and it was really amazing listening to him and watching what he did, and his color choices for that tutorial video is so awesome. I mean, I think I wouldn't wear it, but watching it taking shape, it was just, yeah, it was just eye candy. And yeah, so amazing. I'm totally excited, and I don't have much yet. I just finished the second wedge of section 2 today. I met with a friend for breakfast, and we sat there and knitted, and yeah. So I'm not sure if I can show that because of the MCAL. I probably should. You saw the yarns, and yeah. If you want to check that out, there are lots of posts already online. And also, if you watch Steven's video, at the end there is he did a spoiler alert, so you won't watch it accidentally. But at the end of his video, you can see what the first clue looks finished. It's hard not to look at that. I mean, I basically know what will happen because of the sections in the pattern, but what it will look like finished, well, the first clue at least, yeah. So I really like that excitement and the wonder what will happen. So I trust him. He's a marvelous designer, and yeah, I'm really happy I did that. And yeah, so this will be my October project, and maybe other things have to wait, but I don't care. Oh, oops, sorry. And yeah, I'm really excited to knit this shawl. Right. So, yeah. Anything else? No. So there is, I don't know what they are doing over there, but this is an annoying noise, and I'm not sure if you hear that, probably. So I will just stop here. I collected gazillion tons of footage, and you probably have already seen some at the beginning, so I will just post something at the end. Let's see. I always recorded when I was driving somewhere, I had to go somewhere, so you will see some footage from the town we live closest to. This is Halle. This is where Handel, the composer Handel, comes from. He was born here. And we also spent a lot of time in another town, a little bit further away, not very far, especially if you're an American viewer, it's not very far. It's maybe 30 minutes away. It's called Merseburg. So they have a lovely castle and a cathedral and a very nice historical center. So we were taking walks there a lot when I visited my son at his therapy, and he's back by now, and he will start normal school in 2 days on Monday, and so everything will go back to normal now after the summer. And now please enjoy whatever footage I put in here. I hope you have a lovely fall and time to knit, to cozy up, to spend time with your loved ones, and see you next time. Bye.